Association. I know it's just a bit off your cuff. I'll be asking you to do that. Then you can just put your thoughts together. So thank you very much for being with us again. This is our weekly webinar, Career Conversation. Today we are going to be speaking about the place of career guidance in school guidance programs. Exactly where is the place of career guidance in school guidance programs? It's going to be done by Dr. Mercy Maina, our one and only, who breathes and always discusses careers all the time. And our moderator is me. My name is Margaret Oidaka. For those people who have not met me before, I've seen quite a number of you. We've known each other, but my name is Margaret Oidaka. I am a career development practitioner. I've worked in the space of career guidance and advice for over 15 years. I'm one of the persons of the founder director of College of Career Guidance and Development. I am the board chair of CDAC, that is the professional body of career guidance practitioners. I am also the president of East Africa Career Development Association. This is an outfit that has been put together so that the conversations on career guidance and development may expand in all the countries in Africa, that we're going to have our own career development conversations. For those ones who do not, who have not heard about East African Career Development Association, it has Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, and Southern Sudan. I have also co-authored DYC, which is a Discover Your Career workbook, which is approved in school for those teachers who may have seen it in your school. I'm also a trainer, I am a consultant, and I am a writer. So that is little about who I am. So what is College of Career Guidance and Development? We are an online institution that is registered by the government of Kenya. Our services, we have training programs, we offer short courses, and also a diploma, which is level 6, which we'll be talking about a little bit later. We offer career information resources. We have done a lot of resources for subject selection, for course selection, and others that we have done. Also linking subjects to careers. We've done quite a bit of those resources. We have also consulted for different local, global constituents, which I'll be talking about a little bit later, just touching on that. And we develop a lot of content on this in this space. Our partners, or the people that we've worked out, or the people that we've consulted for in this space is DYC, which is the mother of the mother company that brought together the career guidance practice as well. We have worked with IRPA, done church aid. We have done this a lot of work in the space of youth who are in between school and tertiary. Career Guidance Institute is also a project that works with youth. We've consulted for UNESCO, for ILO, we work together with SACDA, which is the South African Career Development Association of Kenya. Of course, I've talked about CDAC, which most of us are at. We also were very, very ingrained in the Global Career Month last year. It is a bi-yearly program that takes place every 2 years, and all the career guidance and development associations are brought together globally, where they have conversations on career guidance. And of course, EACDA, the one I've just talked about, which takes 5 countries. So we continue with career conversations. For those people who have not been here before, or this is the first time that you've been here, all the conversations that we have, we place them on YouTube. If you go to YouTube channel, and I'm going to place it on the chat, you can view all the conversations that you've had before, and you will also have this one a little bit later after it's recorded. So this is the short overview of the program. After me, we will have kindly mute everybody, just mute so that we have just one conversation. Dr. Mercy, you can mute on your side. So today we are going to have the place of career guidance in school guidance programs, which is going to be done by Dr. Mercy. We'll give her 25 minutes to talk about this. We will also talk about becoming a career professional. We will have a little about the word from SIDA, from Shahid, and then we'll have discussion on the floor. And the Q&A is welcome. Any observation, any questions, kindly put it on the chat and we shall answer. So do not get out of the house with any doubt or any question in your mind. I would like now to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Mercy Maina, who is the Director of Learning and Development and Research in CCGD. She has a PhD in curriculum and instructions, and she did a study on career guidance and education. That is why she's very conversant with matters careers. She has over 20 years experience in training, advising, and counseling. She's done it in schools, in high schools, in colleges, in universities, technical schools, and even among the youth as well. She's also an executive member of CDAC and EACDA. We work together very closely in this association. So Dr. Mercy, I welcome you. I want to stop sharing so that you can come in and then you give us your presentation. So thank you very much. Karibu, Dr. Mercy.
Thank you, Margaret, and welcome everyone. Let me share the screen so that we can. I hope you can see the screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Margaret, for that introduction. And I'm glad that we created time so that we can learn more about school guidance programs, and we see where the place of career guidance is and how we can also make it more vibrant in whatever setting that we find ourselves in. We'll start by thinking about what guidance is, and then after that we will look at the purpose, and then after that then we can be able to dive into the guidance process itself, the school guidance program. So guidance is applicable to everyone. So long as we are here on earth, we will need some guidance at some point. So guidance is applicable in all spheres of life. When we are getting married, we will get guidance. When we are looking for schools, we need guidance. When we are looking for anything, even when we want to know where the kind of the road that is not having jam, we will seek guidance from some quarters. So guidance applies to all human beings and also applicable in all spheres of our lives. And two, it promotes self-discovery. It's one of the activities that helps us know ourselves, know our strengths and weaknesses, so that we can be the people that God created us to be. And besides that, it is all-rounded. It provides all-rounded development so that it can help people solve their problems. So when I have an issue, I need to speak to somebody. And when I'm talking to, for that activity to, for my issue to be solved, then I need to seek some guidance. So it is required of me to be able to do that. And that assistance, more often than not, should be sought from a qualified professional, So what is the goal of guidance? It has several. It can either we can do using this diagram. It has two arms. for the individual and also for social development. So for individuals, either one to seek finally so that eventually we can achieve career maturity. And once we get, how do we get into career maturity? Is through going through the educational growth, or the route through to which we can grow ourselves in terms of our skills, in terms of who we want to be. Then once we have matured, then we also we are able to meet the needs of the manpower, or are we able to provide our skills or to contribute to the economy of the state. Then on the other hand, it also helps us in our social development. And when we have issues, again, we also, guidance helps us even in so-called social adjustments, so that we can become good citizens, and eventually so that we can also be develop, or we have good family lives. So by and large, if we look at it from one angle as an individual, and also in terms of how we grow socially and the support that we need, then so that eventually we can grow in terms of our education, so that we can contribute through our skills, so that we can become good citizens, and so that we can be able to raise our families. So for each and every activity, guidance will be very instrumental. And so what is the role then of the school guidance? So I will share some history, and then how it has evolved, and then what are the influences that has taken place to what it is, and then we also narrow down to our current situation in our own country. So some evolution of global school guidance programs. Over 100 years ago, school guidance was considered to be vocational guidance, and it was delivered by teachers and administrators. So originally, by the time when the school guidance was conceptualized, it was part of vocational guidance. So school guidance, it was synonymous to vocational guidance, and especially to respond to the change in 100 years ago, America, where this movement started. America was moving from agrarian setting to industrial setting. And so there was need, the forefathers of the vocational guidance wanted to know, how do the students transit? What would be their transitions from school to work? And so guidance was needed so that they can have the right to the occupation, and so that they can get into the right occupations. And then this task was delivered by teachers and the administrators of the institutions. Progressively, it has evolved, and today we have in America comprehensive program that focuses on academic, career, personal, and social development, and it is delivered by professional school counselors and closely collaboratively with teachers, parents, and administrators, and also even with the community workers. The main influences of this were industrial evolution. I've just said that America was moving, the world was moving from agriculture to agrarian revolution to industrial revolution. And so there are many changes that were taking place. We have migration from people moving from the farms to work in the industries. The children are going to be, so that there was also the issue of the child labor and all that. So there was need for guidance for the young people, and especially in terms of how they access the labor market and how they work in the industries. So there was the need to have a scientific approach through which these young people, the transitions from school to work was going to be done. So we have other influences were social and education movements that arose. Educational theories and psychology emerged from about 1930 after the Great Depression. Then alongside that, there were also development in terms of child development, protection, and their psychometric, the growth of psychometrics, and then gender equity, and then also because of the gaps between the level income levels, there was also a major focus. School guidance had also to focus on to bridge the gap between the low income earners, so that the gap in terms of academic achievement would be narrowed. And then lately, in terms of globalization, so that we have now the services of school guidance program can, based on the tools that have been developed through technology, has now evolved. And today, the school guidance programs is not what it is from over 100 years that are throughout the world. In a local context, a school guidance program the concept of guidance and counseling was established in 1970, and it was established within the unit of inspectorate. I think equivalent to this would be the Directorate of Quality Assurance in the ministry in the Jogoo House. So this started the conversations about guidance and counseling in schools started in 1970. Then between progressively through the reports, National Development Plans, 1976 to 1983, guidance and counseling was also considered to be an instrumental, and there was a lot of emphasis that guidance and counseling should be taught in teachers training colleges and also embedded within the teacher education programs, so that the teachers can be useful or can be the one who can support learners in learning institutions. Again, progressively, since 1997 to 2000, through the circulars, the COECH report, we have again emphasis on strengthening delivery of career guidance and counseling in schools. And then again, we have other, in terms of the growth, in terms of since 2001 and 2003, there was the report that was done, the Wagai report on the students' unrest and indiscipline, and then the National Education Conference that took place in 2003. So again, because of those unrests, there was emphasis that there should be professional training of teachers to handle guidance and counseling, and then life skills to be taught in all learning institutions. So the learning skills, the life skills that we have as part of the programs, either in learning institute, in all learning institution, was recommended from 2001 and 2003 during the National Education Conference, and then the report when there were so many school unrests and the indisciplines. Those are the recommendations that took place. Fast forward, this has continued to be encouraged that guidance and counseling should be part of the school programs. And when we have 2012, 2017, 2018, and 2023, we have reforms, education reforms, the Vision 2030, the CBC, placement services, career services in higher education, and then the junior school. So we have CUSIPS, which has been one of the activities is to be able to help the placement of students, both in TVET and universities. We have guidance and counseling part of the CBC, the learner support programs. Then we have 2018 when the creation of Office of Career Services, and then we also have this year 2023 in January, there are guidelines that have been provided of how guidance and counseling and career specifically on how it's going to be conducted in junior school. So these are some of the areas in terms of evolution of school guidance in school, and the report with the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms also have highlighted some of it has also been emphasized that guidance and counseling and careers should be part of and parcel of the reforms within the education system. So this is by and large, this is what is since 1970 to 2023. This is some of the elements that are key elements that have influenced the evolution of school guidance in Kenya. So what would be the features of a school program and where is the place of career guidance? So I will demonstrate with a house, and this is how it has been conceptualized. The school guidance program, it has many factors. It has educational guidance, so it has to do with academics and management of students' study skills, examination preparation and all that. We also have personal guidance, where we have the personal issues that the students' needs are addressed. Then we have the vocational, where guidance, career guidance falls under. And then the social guidance, so that we can have interaction, social interaction and social skills. Vocational, this is where we have the issue of extracurricular activities, the clubs, the leisure activities. And then we have moral guidance that has to do with the spirituality, and then the ethics, and more often than not, the moral aspect is also taken care of by the chaplaincy. And then we have the health, so that because of the issues of diseases and how the wellness, the mental health, all this is considered as an important aspect of school guidance program. And then economic, the issue within, we have the 21st century skills. One of the skills that the learners need to be taught is a financial literacy, so that even how do they manage money, and how do they even develop skills so that they can contribute to the labor market. So these are, by and large, are the elements that will constitute a proper that would house all the programs within the school guidance program. And so specifically, so where does career guidance fall under? Because career guidance involves activities that help individuals know themselves, prepare themselves through education and training, so that they can be able to make informed career choices. So vocational guidance, not just occupation, because occupation needs to be backed up with education and training. So there's a combination of vocational and education, so that we can have career guidance. So we cannot divorce. That's why we go to school, so that we can get the right skills, we can be prepared, so that we can be able to join the world of work. And so what does then, therefore, guidance and counseling, career guidance contribute? It helps in helping individuals or students in knowing themselves, so that they can also identify the influences that influences their choices. And once they identify the areas that they would want to do, so they go for education and training. Education and training can either be formal, through the education system, or through informal, because we also acknowledge that there are people who may not go to school and can acquire skills through on-the-job training. And then after that, they're able to access the labor market through the skills that they acquire from education and training. They're able now to join the world of work, either where they seek employment, or they also employ themselves. So by and large, this is how the concept of school guidance, an ideal picture of what would constitute, what would the main elements would be: educational, personal, vocational, social, vocational. Vocational is where we have the sports or the leisure activities, then the moral, the spirituality and ethics, then the health, and then economics. And so the place where is the place of career guidance. Career guidance, therefore, it's part of the school guidance program. And when it is merged with education, both educational guidance and vocational guidance, they form what is commonly considered as a career guidance. And career guidance then helps in terms of helping people identify their interests, their passions, and then so that they can be able, those influences that will influence them on occupation, the choice of occupation, then they can be able to develop those choices through education and training, and then after that they're able to access the world of work. So how does this then school guidance program work? One, it has to needs assessment. It has to identify what is needed and what is missing, so that to make the provisions within the program. So depending on the situation, depending on where the practice is being administered, the needs assessment is one of the things that must be conducted. If I'm in a school X, what are the needs of the school program, depending on, depending on the activities, the type of school, the kind of activities, that the vision of the school, so that it can inform your school guidance program. And so the purpose of this is so that you can be able to provide a practical program that addresses the needs of the school. So they may not have a one fit for all, but needs assessment is one of the key activities that a practitioner or the schools must identify so that they can be able to structure their school guidance program. And so what are the main domains of school guidance programs? It has 4 elements, the domains of school guidance program. So we have academic, learning to learn, and this has to do with academic success, the choice of subjects, the curriculum that is offered, the preparation of examinations, and how the students are prepared so that they can be able to access the labor market. Then the second one is career, and so career guidance becomes, that is one of the elements of the school guidance programs, is learning to work. And so how do we help learners acquire skills to be able to work? So the career guidance programs must also influence in terms of the choice of help individuals know who they are in terms of their passions, interests, and then after that provide environment through which they can be able to practice what they think will be suitable to them. And this can be achieved through work-based learning. Then the third one will be the personal and social, learning to live, because of personal characteristics, the social skills, any dynamics that are because we are people and we live with one another. So we need to develop the interpersonal skills and social skills so that we can, individuals can be able to live with one another and in harmony. And then finally, contribution to the community involvement, learning to contribute so that we can identify some of the activities that are taking place within our communities, and how can we volunteer, how can we solve problems, and how can we identify with our community and getting engaged in some of those activities. The cleanups, the tree planting activities, all these some of the activities that can be able to help a school guidance program, so that a visit to a children's home, then we expose the need of other, we are able to expose our learners to see the needs of the others, and we have a sense of compassion, a sense of identify with the community, and how such of the if there are any issues, and how we identify the problems so that we can be able to solve them through education and training in terms of the areas that we'd be interested in. So the domains of school guidance programs are 4. They are academic, career, personal and social, and community involvement. And I think this is one of the strong element that is of the community involvement that has not been there in the previous systems of education. And so it is one of the key pillar of the service learning, community service, and also service learning activities. So what would constitute a good school guidance program? It requires, because based on the needs of the school, it needs individual planning, and put into consideration individual needs for the learners or for any other person that is involved. The type of school, the type of learners, the type of students, and etc. So individual planning is very important, so that it makes so that it can be able to meet the needs on every person. Then it should also provide responsive services. The responsive services, if there are issues within individual planning, and we see there are issues that cannot be resolved, how do we do that? We refer. And so we must be responsive so that we can be able to meet those needs of that have been identified, and that the school program cannot be able to solve. So that the counseling services becomes very important as part of the responsive services. Then the support, the system support, either within the community support, either the support within the school, other people within the administration and etc. So the support system in terms of administration, the school owns the process, owns that we need to have a school guidance program so that it can be able to provide the resources, so that it can also provide provision in terms of reporting, so that the program and the department thrives. Then we must advocate for the students' needs and the school program, because when they are doing individual planning, we'll be able to identify some of the issues that our students are experiencing. There are those ones that are needy students. There are those ones that have discipline issues. There are those ones that have the dynamics that would hinder the growth or the thriving of any students. So the department should be able to advocate for that and be able to seek solutions for that. And besides that, we need resources and materials, and so the support system, administrative support is necessary, so that the resources are provided, the materials must be provided either, and so a budgetary allocation should be provided. And then school guidance is not a one-man activity. It requires collaborative structures. That's why we have administration, we have the business community, we have teachers, we have parents, and we also have the students. They have a say in how the school guidance program should be done, and especially because of their planning. So we need the planning is individual, and then also because of advocacy. And then that way, and we also have other teachers who will be able to help, and any other service support services and that will be provided, so that it is very clear how the school guidance will run. Finally, it's a time to reflect based on that fact. I have 3 questions for you, and maybe we can write them in the chat. From my presentation, what are your key observations in delivery of this service in our schools or in our learning institutions? What gaps exist in the current situations from wherever you are? If you are a teacher, you are in a school, you are in you're in a higher institution, you are in the community, in a youth program, what gaps exist in the current situation? And what solutions can you advocate for better service delivery? These are probing questions so that we can see, so that we remove some of the misconception about guidance and counseling, and so that we also encourage the youth and people seek guidance and counseling services, and that way the community will be able to thrive. Both school community, the community where we live in will be able to thrive. So answer those. You can write if you have answers to some of these questions. It's a reflection moment, and if there's any question you can respond to, write in the chat. And then the next one will be, how have we been just to school guidance programs? Do you think we have been just to school guidance programs? Have they been effective? Are there, yes, have we been just to school guidance programs? Again, it's another question that we can also think about and be able to respond either on the chat, and when they open the floor in the next, I'm actually done, so we can have a floor so that we can discuss the question and answer. And thank you for listening to me. Over back to you, Margaret.
Asante sana. Thank you, Dr. Mercy. Many people where does she get all this information? She has so much information. So yes, thank you very much for that. And one of the things that has come out very strongly is the place of careers, because we have so many areas of guidance, and many of us have always confused the psychosocial guidance to careers. And she has clarified to us that education and vocational, they're the ones that form career guidance. And this is what prepares us to the world of work. So it makes us start asking ourselves, why do we go to school? Why am I learning this kind of subjects? So the guidance programs in school help us now to actually connect. Why are we doing these subjects? Why should I do this course? Who am I? So thank you very much, Dr. Mercy. She's really clarified a lot of places, and even that place, where should it be? Why should it not be? Should it still be confused? These are the conversations that are happening in career guidance, have not been happened for the last 5 years, the way it has been happening in the world. And this is the time that we need to have a lot of conversations so that we are able to help our students when it comes to transitions and employability. So thank you so much, Dr. Mercy. I haven't seen anybody ask any questions. Does anybody have a question? You can raise your hand. Then you can ask a question, or you can put it in the chat. Dr. Mercy ask us to reflect. Anybody with a question? Charles says, yes.
Oh, Chess has written on the chat, yeah.
Okay, yes, I've seen. Charles says, we have been very unjust. Lack of information has been rampant, and teachers must be empowered on such information so that it can be effective. Thank you very much, Charles. It is very true. There has to be a lot of empowerment so that we are able to be just to our children. Because, of course, all of us are parents, and we know that the issues of another child is also our issue. Yes, anybody else with a comment, a question? What gaps exist in the current situation? Maybe we can answer that, or we can reflect on that. And what solution do you think we can advocate for better service delivery? Dr. Chelotti, our dear friend, hi. She's asked 2 questions. Yes, the current student population is too high. School counselors are overwhelmed. That is one of her observations. The other one she says that there is actually no career counseling in schools. This service is given by trusted, long-serving teachers. It's such a huge gap, and it is very true, because the one who looks the most humble or the most friendly becomes a counselor with no information, no tools. It is very true. That is what Dr. Chelotti says. And yeah, any other reflection? We need to have training for career guidance among teachers. That is what Dr. Chelotti says. That yes, we need to have training. Okay, any question? No, Dr. Mercy, you want to say something?
No, I was just saying that I think this is a topic that is very dear to all of us, and it would be nice we just have a conversation around it, and so that we can, talk about it. And feel free to at least to contribute. Miss Elizabeth.
Okay, I can see somebody else talking about when we are talking. It's Charles who is keying in. You can put in your question, your observation on the chat, so that we are able to converse. We can still continue with this conversation even as we move on. Even as we continue to reflect, I want to talk about what Dr. Chelotti has said about we need to have training for career guidance among teachers. And so we can, Dr. Mercy can also take us through and tell us about, if this is the case, how can we get trained? What kind of information, resources, or tools can we have so that we are as competent as you are, Dr. Mercy?
Okay, give me a minute.
Charles also says that it's important. What have you said? Let me see. I don't know why I keep on moving from one sector to the other. Guidance sessions are more interesting for learners. Chat. Okay, it's important to make guidance sessions more interesting for our learners. Maybe through videos, kids, drama, it may capture many. Yes, there are quite a lot of activities when it comes to guidance, and especially when it comes to career guidance. Like Dr. Mercy says that, of course, the schools have so much when it comes to psychosocial issues, and the teachers who are here, you know that. So that now career guidance can actually take its own space, and then we are able to help students so that they can connect what they are learning to the world of work. David says, David, hi, you have always been a faithful joiner in this. I joined a bit late, but I've learned something. Thanks, Dr. Mercy. We are going to be having this video, this recording. We will have it on YouTube, and then you'll be able to listen. Kiprono said, we need to bring all teachers on board when advising students on subject choice. Yes, that is very important. And I think Dr. Mercy can actually talk about that now or later, because it is very, very important to have that. Very, very, very important when it comes to that. Let me admit more people. Okay, Jackin says that we need to bring that I have learned a lot and more comes in. So Dr. Mercy, maybe you can tell us about how to be competent so that all these gaps and all these challenges that we are experiencing may be able to be taken care of. Hezekiah has said career guidance should be done mostly at Form 1 and Form 2 before selection of subjects. Maybe Dr. Mercy will talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. I come back, and so here it's about to get qualified so that you can be able to have the right competencies and be able to be more equipped when it comes to services of delivering career guidance, one of the domains of the school guidance programs. So we have a diploma that is co-developed with ABMA UK, a diploma in career guidance and education that has been equated by National Qualification Framework, and it is as at a level 6. It takes 1 year or 4 semesters, and then there's an industrial attachment to it after the 4 weeks. The syllabus covers all the content that would make you a professional or a practitioner, a qualified certified practitioner. It has cognitive competencies. The cognitive means it has the skills to know of how to deliver, the skills of theory, the skills of counseling, the skills of advising, the skills of coaching, the skills of mentoring. Then we have the functional competencies of knowing how to go about the work. So it has delivery methods of how can career guidance be delivered in all settings, both whether it is for different groups of people, whether it is adults, whether there are people who are retiring, whether we have students in the learning institutions. So it has those competencies, functional competencies of how to deliver the services. Then it has also particular personal competencies. How do you behave in terms of how do you deliver, how do you communicate, how do you facilitate your professional behavior in terms of the service as a practitioner. And then any discipline has its own ethical code of ethics, and so it also, the course is also has that element of ethical competencies that to be able to uphold the professional values of the career development practitioner. So what is in terms of standards and compliance? It's recognized, equated, and accredited by National Qualification Framework Authority. Assessment awarding a certification is by ABMA. That's why we are a learning center, but we teach, and then the assessment is done by ABMA Education UK. Then CCGD is registered as a learning institution and also an examination center by ABMA and also by TVETA. And then in terms of staff, we have highly qualified staff. Most of them have masters in guidance and career guidance and development from global universities. And then we also have, I'm licensed, I'm a TVET trainer, tutor, licensed by TVETA. So how is the course delivered? It is on scheduled guided virtual classes. It's the same way we have the classes, the in-person class, but now we do it on the social platforms, based on technology. Then in addition to that, we have learning activities and self-paced study, any materials. We have a Moodle, a learning management system, where all the resources are uploaded. And then assignments are also done online. Everything is online, and it is done also through the learning management systems, or we also have other methods of delivering the assessments. In terms of the cost, we have a flexible payment plan, either per unit or per month, or depending on the pocket. Then this is also something that is also put into consideration. And once you get this qualification, what's the application? How do you apply this skill? It's a new skill, and we are saying in one of the ways through which this course has cognitive functions, it has functional, and it also personal, and it has ethical. So all these elements can help an individual in developing curriculum, developing workshops. You see the questions you're talking about, that we need to be trained, we need people to be trained and all that. If you have these skills, you can be able to deliver, you can develop a course and be able to teach others. Then it is also important in skills in designing, developing and evaluating and revising existing career education programs. Then as a personal, in terms of you can also integrate career management competencies within the school curriculums. And this one of the areas that has been completely been encouraged is that we have community service and service learning activities. And so career guidance also has an element of how to help you in terms of work-based activities and community service learning, so that this can be embedded within the school curriculums. Then information and resources. We really, in terms of looking for resources for teaching on career guidance or even guidance, school guidance programs are very, very few. Margaret has one book and she writes in the newspaper, but that is not sufficient. You and I, if we have these skills, we have an opportunity to be able to develop, to produce career information products. Then again, we have in CBC, one of the areas is how to help students package their career information, provide information, how it is accessed, and how the students can use it and apply it when developing their career portfolios. Then, so where can this be? So if then with all those skills, where do you work? You work either as a career teacher or a career officer in learning institutions, either a career mentor, either in job or job employment or job placement services, as a consultant, a career coach, a career information specialist, an advisor, and the list, depending on the setting, would be a lot in terms of how you apply and what would have spoken to you a lot. Curriculum developer, etc. So we have an intake that is going on. We have the class for September intake is starting on 18th. So we have orientation on 18th. And so as a way forward, so who do you think can benefit from this training? So you can consider yourself. You can think of an employed graduate who can develop a new skill, a neighbor, your child, and it is open to all. So our intakes are 2 every May and September. So the next intake is September. And once we do the intake for May is over, the next one will be in May 2024. So I think by and large is that. This is the faculty team. We have Miss Pauline Wangombe, who teaches career guidance for work setting. in work environment, Dr. Fidel Baraza, who teaches career guidance for special needs. Nikki, career education, delivery of career education services in learning in institutions or in different settings, theory of practice, career development theories. Nikki teaches career information, advising, and also and mentoring. Polly teaches career information in professional service, professional, the competence of how do you behave as a professional. She's very passionate about that. And then we have Edward, who is LMS support. We said we have a learning management system that where all the materials are uploaded, notes, and any additional resources that the students may need. And then in terms of admin support, we have, in addition to Margaret, yes, Caroline Kamene is one of our admin support. So I teach the history of career guidance, assessments, and also career assessments, the tools, the different types of assessments. And then I also teach career guidance for schools. So those are the 3 units that I teach. And I'm inviting you so that we can learn and be able to be professionals in this area. And it's an exciting area. We have a conference coming up, the second national conference on career guidance. And you'll be able to hear more. And because we want to lobby and advocate for the practice, then for it to be recognized as a profession, we need to have the right competencies. We need to have the key competencies that makes a career development practice, professional. So, and we know capacity building does not give the full range of the competencies a person needs to have. And so we can end with this, what Beverly Seals says: there are no shortcuts to any place worth going. If we want to become and be able to thrive within the school guidance programs, and specifically the place of career guidance, then there will be no shortcuts. And so I'm inviting you to become of this in this section in terms of becoming a professional. So thank you. I will give it back to you, Margaret.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Mercy. Yes, we need to become professionals. I can see even some of the reactions that we're having on the chat. We actually need to get all that clarity and become professionals. From NASA says, from where I sit, Office of Careers and that of Guidance and Counseling are 2 separate departments. Actually, Dr. Mercy, that is what she said before. They work independently. From the presentation, I've seen that the need to work as a team. Now, how do we bring the 2 departments together in schools? So, Dr. Mercy, even as we reflect on this, I think that you can answer. Then Emma says career guidance is an important term in education. Very, very important, because that it actually helps us reflect where do I go to? Why do I go to school? If I'm going to be in school for this number of years, the many years that I'll be in life will be working, then I should be doing the right work. So it is super important. Yeah, so Emma, yes, that is very true. So Dr. Mercy, even as we talk about the competencies, you can answer that questions. But for those ones who are still, I have already posted our website. I posted our website on the chat. You can have a look at it. And I posted also a Google chat, a Google form. In case you need more information, you can also register. So Dr. Mercy, meanwhile, you can answer that question.
Okay. Yeah, so Nessa says from where she sits, Office of Careers and Guidance and Counseling, yes, they are different. We have this guidance program is a big house that has all this. It is like a what? It has several rooms, a big house that has many rooms. One of them is educational, and that's where the curriculum is administered. It has the personal, the individual, the challenges that students may have, or learners may have within the learning systems. We have the vocational needs. They need to know what they want to be and how can they be supported. The school program also has the learner support. Actually, essentially it's the learner support activities. So they will also have the social challenges, and so how can the social issues being handled. So it is still part of the big house of guidance, the school guidance program. And then depending on how each school arranges its activities, there'll be those that are separate and those ones that are going to be individual. Currently, in higher education, and Dr. Cheroti, you can tell me that we have the Office of Career Services Department as a standalone. But even when it stands alone, they will have issues of academic. There'll be the issues of the social issues that a student may come for a career need, but you discover that this is not a career need. It is a social, it's a social issue. And so the guidance and counseling will be able to handle that. So two of them will work hand in hand, and hence the need for collaboration and team approach, so that all of them be able to document the kind of needs that the students are presenting, and see how they can be reconciled across different departments. So I totally agree that career can be standalone, guidance and counseling can be standalone, but where the school structures allow for separate, that would be the ideal situation. And I think that is one of the areas we are advocating for, so that because of the psychosocial problems that overwhelm the guidance and counseling problems, and the trauma that if you are being seen going for counseling in guidance and counseling department because you have a problem, then the need to separate the two services. But they all under the big house called school guidance program or the learner support programs. I hope, is it clear, Nasa? I think, was it Nasa who?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, that was very, very clear. So thank you. For those of us who are still interested in becoming qualified, you can go to our website. I've posted that. I've also posted the Google form where you can fill in your details, and then we can come back to you. Now, because of these conversations that we've been having on career guidance and development, there is an association called Career Development Association of Kenya, where practitioners come together in the conversations. This career conversation has been brought together with CDAC, and Dr. Mercy mentioned that you're going to have a conference which is organized by the association, because the purpose of this is to ensure that that careers are done well. The career guidance and development is done well, and we are taking care of the practice so that it's done in the right way. So we have one of the board members here, Shaheen. You can talk to us about being a member. Shaheen, you are still here? Shaheen, done? Okay, maybe she's taken a walk. Any of the members here? Any other member here of CDAC? Okay. I think we do not have anyone there, anyone right now. But CDAC, what it is an association. It is a registered membership association of career guidance and development practitioners, and its work is to advance career guidance best practices in Kenya. We purpose to advocate and promote lifelong professionalism in this sector, and our members are drawn from the whole learning institutions, that is primary, secondary, TVET, universities, as well as those people who work in the private sector. It is important that if you become a member, so that you can be advocated for. So I am also going to put in, I'm also going to post as well, and put in where you can also become a member of CDAC, and you'll be getting as much information as possible about where we need to be. So that is about CEDA, Career Development Association. We are doing a lot of stuff, and actually part of the work that you're doing is not just in Kenya. We are doing a lot of Kenyan projects. We are doing regional, and we have global associations that we are working with, so that these conversations can actually be an African one, but we move forward. So thank you so much. I can see Emma has asked, how do you register? I have already done it there. You can register. For those who are students of CCGD, you become an automatic member when you are registered or when you are in the school. So I thank you very much. It's clear. I'm satisfied with the answer. That is what it is. So Shaheen left. So I think she must be having that. So any question before we close? Today we are early. Any question before we close? CEDAC has a K. It is a Career Development Association of Kenya, so that we're not confused with the CEDAC assessment body. So yeah, it is. Anybody who has a question so far?
Or a comment?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, may I say thank you?
Oh.
Yes, Dr.
And say hi to everyone.
Hi.
It was a fantastic presentation as always. We have learned a lot. We have been empowered. We have the knowledge. We know where the gaps are, and we have the willingness to work towards filling the gaps. And we thank you, Maggie and Daktari, for the good presentation.
Asante, Dr. Chep. Thank you so much. Any other comment? Any other comment, observation before we close? I can see David writing on the chat. You can continue writing. So for me, on behalf of CCGD and behalf of CEDAC, I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for coming and being with us here. We await you either in school, that is CCGD, so that you become a student, and also in CEDAC, so that we can walk together this journey and help our children. So thank you very much. Continue, stay tuned. We have these conversations every week. We will be communicating about the next one very soon. David says, you appreciate the presentation that are empowering us to help students. God bless you all. And from me, I also say the same. May God bless you all and see you
Maggie,
next
before
time.
You go away.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
You have encouraged members to join CEDAC, but you have not given us the, what is it called, membership fee.
It is, I have in CEDAC, when you go to the website, you get into the membership.
Okay.
And it will all be there. For those who are professionals, and the professionals are the ones who are trained, Dr. Mercy is in charge of professional development and standards. For you to become a professional, you have to have training a specific timeline for credits. That is 4,000 for all the others. You have interest or you have not done, that is an associate member. So those are the certifications that we give. So you will be, if you go to the membership, I've posted it. I can actually post on that side. You will get all the information and you can learn to be a member. And then we can continue with these conversations, even going ahead to get to the conference, which will be in December. Yes, Emma, your hand is up. Emma, your hand is up.
Hello, Margaret. This is Shaheen. Sorry, my computer hung up and I had to rejoin the meeting.
Okay.
Would you need my services or it's okay?
No, it's okay. We had to, we placed in, so don't worry. Next time you'll be able to come in. So not a problem. So we have closed now. It is 2040. Thank you all and God bless you.